Hi, Tokyo. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to
I'm
meet you as
Megan.
well. Thank you for taking the time. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited. I was telling Julie Peasy last week that like Real World Homecoming has been like every week. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen this week? It's been so great to see everybody's journey, but especially yours. Your journey on the show has been amazing to watch and
Thank
just
you.
yeah, I just loved seeing you. You seem so much happier than you were in the first one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's more I'd agree with that. It's definitely a big difference this time around. So it's um it's good that showed. It's good that showed for sure.
Yeah. Did you have any hesitation about like going back to New Orleans? Like, was it full steam ahead the whole time, or what sold you on coming back?
Well, I don't think there was real hesitation because I didn't have much skin in the game, right? So a lot of people can have hesitations because of whether they have to be cognizant of their life now or they don't want to rehash things from back then. Well, I didn't really give that much before. Considering, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like I had to rehash anything. If anything, it would be addressing the fact that I wasn't present, which I did. So that's easy to do when you're there, right? So there's not really a hesitation. But it's also, I guess, the only real trepidation I would have is how to open up to six different individuals in 2 weeks' time. There's only so much
Yeah.
you can parse, at that point. Like we had 6 months before in the original, and then 2 weeks. So it's not like you can get to know much. It's going to be very surface, but at least letting others know that you're available is good. So it wasn't really a hesitation. It was just more or less, okay, how are you going to do it, type of thing.
Yeah. I actually was wondering, did it feel like being back together had to feel surreal, but did it feel like you were almost like quarantining or like you're in a weird family vacation? Because you really didn't have a lot to do other than like having the incoming messages and stuff. It was just kind of like you're just hanging out.
Yeah, and you actually bring up a very brilliant point. This doesn't work if we didn't have a quarantine. If there wasn't a pandemic, right? Because I'm not going to be around for incoming messages all the time if I'm going to be out. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Say Melissa and I decided to take a walk and like go to a movie or something. Well, we'd miss the 7:30 incoming message, and then we'd have to be told about it. So this only works in an environment that's as controlled as this, not by the director's brilliant idea to make a pandemic, but that's what the reality was. So it felt weird, but then it felt okay. That tracks. That we it's literally everything had to happen the way it did for this to be as a success as I feel that it has been. It had to be drama. There had to be a pandemic. There had to be so much for this to turn out the way it did. So I think it just worked out well.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the re-recording of Come On Be My Baby Tonight.
Yeah.
That was so great. And I was wondering if that was something that you presented, or was that something the production team like presented to you, or how did that whole idea come about?
Yeah, I didn't. I wouldn't be the one that's like, what would be a great idea to put this. Let's do this again. No, that was all of them. Like it's really real that I hadn't really opened that box for 22 years.
Yeah.
Like Melissa really had to like tell me like, yeah, this is a thing. Um, so no, it wasn't my idea, but at the same time, because it is what it is a pillar. If not, it's one of the many pillars of our season, but it's one of them. And production was like, we've got to unearth that. I was like, I don't know why, but okay, so let's go with it, But it's a fun thing. Um, that just it wasn't my idea though. It wasn't my idea. That's all of them. They really did a great job for the promo because I didn't do that remix. They did that.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I was very very impressed with that. That's the only part that I've watched of the show. It's
Wow.
just literally just the promo, and they did such an excellent job. I was like, oh my goodness, I felt that. I felt that. That was a moment for me right there. So they did a really good job.
So you haven't watched, that was the only part you have watched. You don't
Yeah,
want to watch this
I've
particular
never even
season
watched the
original?
previous season. I've never watched at all, my friend.
Wow.
That's not how I don't know if this is you as well, but when you leave a voicemail and you try to check it, and it's like you want to hear like if it's okay. I have a problem listening to my voicemail. I don't like my voice.
Yeah.
or even selfies are really hard for me. So watching an entire video of sound and motion of me, forget about it. I'm not even gonna try that. So, so literally, I haven't watched this season. I haven't watched before, and I'm good with that because at the end of the day, the art is you leaving everything as it is. The original
Yeah.
can never be told because the story is now being told to you by a director, the vision,
Yeah.
right? So granted, 98.9% of it is true. The discrepancy is obviously maybe the chronological order or this, but point is, anytime a story has to be retold from someone else's perspective, it's going to be not the original. So I have the original. That's good for
Yeah.
me. I don't need to watch. That's all I'm doing.
That's great. I did want to ask, how long did it take to record "Come On Be My Baby Tonight"? Because I know it's like only like a minute in the episode, but I'm sure it had to take longer than that.
Wait.
Oh, and the re-recording. I'm
The
sorry.
re-recording, like
Yes.
the seven roommates.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. With the one
so
you just did recently. Yeah.
the funniest thing is I felt really bad. And this is like exclusive info I'm giving you. I'm giving you like some good stuff. Um, I felt really bad that because usually I think anyone knows about music, you can be there for like hours upon
Yeah.
hours and hours. But I felt bad that maybe, except for Melissa, Melissa knows that because her husband is all about the music, so she knows it takes a long time. I didn't want them there for that long because it's not that I didn't want to get it right or anything like that. And this is the exclusive stuff I'll tell you in a second. But it wasn't because I didn't want them there. It's just that they may not understand that this may take days or weeks to get perfect. So
Right.
what I did was I literally like I fudged up all of my verses because I was so nervous. I was like, but they did well enough. So I took the stems of their performance. This is the exclusive stuff now, girl. This is about to set the internet on fire. So I took the stems of what they did, and then back in the hotel room when all taping was done, I went back into the hotel bathroom and redid my verse.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
I remastered it or whatever, and then sent them that version. So the version that you see on the television is they're slicing it over, but the version that I gave them is a combination of what happened in the studio and me being in the hotel bathroom to make up for my deficiencies on the recording. But it's it took literally 30 minutes for all of us to get done because I tried to rush it for them. I didn't want them to be there hours. I can be hours
Yeah.
mixing it, but I didn't want them to be there hours. So it actually was pretty quick.
Wow. Oh, that's very nice of you to, because it would probably take a lot of time, and they'd be
It,
like,
right. They'd be
oh,
like, okay, so can we not be a baby tonight? Because I want
yeah,
to go home. It's like, it just takes a while for music to, to,
yeah,
to
yeah.
do
That's why
that.
I'm
But
like, this had to have taken longer than just a
yeah,
minute.
no,
That's what I kept thinking.
it was a while after in post. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Kelly has a really hard time this season, more so than anyone else, and I found that surprising. We kind of learned later what was going on, but did you have similar reactions at all to being back? It almost felt like, or looked like, she was dealing with like PTSD almost from being from the first time. And I didn't know if that was something you felt too at all, like coming back, that a
Well,
weird reaction.
so I mean, with Kelly specifically, again, she had much more story and narrative in the game, and with her journey being where it is, there's a lot that you put on the line when you jump back into the fray. Yes, she has her own individual life, but she's also moving in congruence with another life that is, in the light. So it's a lot she has to take in, right? So I can see that. Matter of fact, I can see her being more guarded just because that she knows the experience. Like I unfortunately, I think I was almost the opposite. She was a little bit guarded, knowing that she has things to make sure that are good. I came in just like, hey, just like all over, which is why the Julie situation began. What took me aback, because it's like, hey, and it's like, what is all this that I'm getting at? It's not supposed to be all positive, but so I think I think she was a little bit different. because she's always been forthcoming. She's always been open. She's always been that guiding light, even if that's not what you looked for her to be. But she had a lot, again, she had much more skin in the game than I did because I was coming back fresh and new. Like I'm basically the remedial student of our class. I'm the one that got held back because I had to, catch up a little bit, and I did. But they're still more advanced as far as like getting to know each other and blah blah blah. So
that's really interesting. Speaking of Julie, how much did her overall spirit and candidness surprise you? I know I felt watching it like, oh, I don't remember her being this forthcoming with things. It seems like maybe she was looking forward to this little experiment again more than anybody else, I think.
No, well, are we talking about the same Julie? Like, okay, so because here's the thing. It's here's how it and I look around when I talk, so don't take any offense to it.
No.
What like I didn't know that the hot tub, like I didn't watch the show, but obviously you get in social media little tidbits and things like that. And whatever motive she was for trying to start conversations or whatever like that, the way I chalk it up to is the universe demanded that I go through this to see how I respond, to see how I rise. If I fall, whatever. I rose and truth prevailed. Got it. The purpose of, because there's a distinct difference between I would not have been able to evolve to what took me past that drama. Julie may have started it, but she's not the reason I succeeded or we succeeded together. So I want to be very careful when I say that, yes, Julie is a big part of us being a family of misfits in the first place, but whatever energy that she's bringing had to be reactionary for me, had to be, whatever. I mean, there's a time when energy is just like, accept it, and it's like everybody's cool, but this was something where you had to zig and zag. That was necessary. But how we rose together to kind of quell that, whether it's, Kelly leaving, like, what, this is just too much, or, Melissa, who literally got more upset than I was for a second because she was like, you know what, I'm just getting to know you when I'm pissed, type of thing. For all of that to happen, her energy was needed for that moment. Now, if she came completely different, we would have rose to a different occasion. That's how I know it doesn't take Julie to make this this show be as good as it is, or as important as it is for the rest of us. Had she not done that, had she not been there, we would have still been able to find something that created this show that really, spoke to the minds and the hearts of everyone. But whatever it is that she has to deal with, she's always part of the family. But I can't have that negativity in my life, especially if you don't understand the depth and the weight of what you did. I think that I received a text from her because I was still kind of talking to her, whatever like that. This is another exclusive stuff because you're cool. I got a text from her, and you know how when you read a text, you can just read the first two sentences or whatever like that. It said something to the effect of, if you're listening to Kelly or something like where it, in other words, nothing about what she did to me is leading her drive to wonder why we're not connecting. Right. So if you say like, you know what, I see now how this could have done this. She's more concerned with somebody else persuading me not to talk to her, which means that you're not in the right place. Like whenever you get there, I'll be exactly where I am. So you'll know where to find me. But at this moment in time, you are not able to see the gravity of what could have transpired. Right. And if that's the case, I never want to be left alone with you, ever, even as a friend, because I don't have the benefit of having cameras all the time. I don't have the benefit of just literally audio being taped all the freaking time. I don't trust that you understand what it means you can have thoughts. You can have like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. But once you speak something into existence, you have to deal with the consequences. And the consequences right now is that 6 of your family are not talking to you.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Oh, well, I don't want to end it on a negative note, but I
Yeah,
do
I'm
want to
thinking let's have just one more to
yeah.
wrap it up.
Sure,
I
sure, sure,
agree.
sure. And I'm sorry to give you all that, but it was just that's what it
No,
was.
no. My final question was, did you get more out of this experience the second time than you did the first? It seems
Oh,
like you just really have blossomed. I mean, in the space between, but yeah, I just was wondering if you got more out of it this time.
without question. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I have like six very strong, reasons, why, and that's including Julie. I mean, you have to understand that, like, we can have opinions and have a certain place in our lives of where we are. And we always have growth. Each of us always have growth. And I can love her for what she's been able to bring out in me. But when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, this is where we are, and now I have that experience. I have like Melissa, I literally can just text her and say, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "Nothing, just chilling." And that's just not even a thing before, I
Yeah.
can call on Danny. It's like I'm so connected now with the experience that it's far beyond what it was before. Not to mention, we didn't have social media back then. So now it's like
Yeah.
even more so because of their success is my success, and just being able to share, their stories as it's happening is just amazing. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Well, this has been such a pleasure. Like I said, you have been just the breakout, I feel, of
Thank
the
you
show.
so
Seeing
much.
you like just blossom is the best way to say, and just love yourself. And I think that's great.
I
So
appreciate
yeah.
you. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you, and I hope everything is good.
Thanks. You too. It's an honor to be with you. So
Have a good one.
bye.
Bye
Thank you so
bye.
much.